The Filipino lifestyle is centered around the love and importance of families. Often you will find small towns that are made up of no more than 5 different families. Extended family is the most important societal unit, especially for women. Women grow up surrounded by family and end up becoming great friends with aunts, grandparents, and cousins. Because family is so important, children grow up learning from their entire family how to act, respect, and provide for their family. I will cover the different areas of life in the next few slides and introduce a little bit about them and their lifestyles. The pictures shown here depict the Filipino children at play, at school, and showing respect for their elderly. As mentioned earlier, children have the opportunity to grow up surrounded by family members. They are carried and passed from aunt to grandma to cousin until they are about 1 year old. This time allows them to watch and learn from the examples around them. They are also taught to depend on their elders and learn a great amount of respect from them. It is an essential part of their culture to grow up using the Tagalog word po, which has a strict purpose of showing respect to the person you are talking to. Children learn to answer to their elders by saying opo for yes instead of the more casual oo. Children also grow up going to public schools where uniforms are required, all the way from elementary school to college. The Filipino children find joy in such small and simple things because of their humble upbringing. Most of the population grows up in poverty or very humble living. The youth and young adults grow up in a world where education is definitely important and necessary in order to obtain positions that promise security and advancement. Approximately 2 million students attend colleges and universities in the Philippines. Along with education, beauty, money, and the color of your skin can determine a person's position socially. While spending time there, I remember going to my local grocery store looking for body soap and searching the multiple hygiene aisles and only finding whitening body soap. Coming from America, that was very interesting to me to see that while being surrounded by beautiful tan men and women, they were all trying to hide their skin from the sun and become lighter or more beautiful in their eyes. I had friends that were asked if it would be okay for them to touch their skin because they have freckles, or their hair because it was beautiful and blonde. The cultural difference is very interesting because wherever we are in the world, we always want to look like the minority and are always striving to see if the grass really is greener on the other side. Another interesting part of their culture is that men have been expected to be married by their late 20s, and if they are not, their sisters and cousins will then start to seek out potential brides for their brother or cousin. A woman who reaches the age of 32 without marrying is considered past the age for marriage. Women also believe that if they marry a wealthy man or a foreigner, they will be happy forever. It is very common for a husband and wife to work in order to provide for the family. The culture is that the grandparents will live with the family and then take responsibility for the raising of their grandchildren. The parents then are able to provide for the family. In situations where this isn't possible, it is likely that the mom works from home, doing odd and end jobs like embroidery, laundry, or cooking and selling snacks from their home. Earlier, I talked about the importance of using the word po for anyone responding to their elders. There is another custom in the Filipino culture that is called mano or pagmamano. It is a gesture used in Filipino culture, performed as a sign of respect to elders and as a way of accepting a blessing from the elder. Similar to hand kissing, the person giving the greeting bows towards the offered hand of the elder and presses his or her forehead on the elder's hand. Usually performed with the right hand, the person showing respect may ask mano po to the elder in order to ask permission to initiate the gesture. Typically, someone may mano to his or her older relatives upon entry into their home or upon seeing them. The word mano is Spanish for hand, while the word po is often used again in Filipino culture and language at the end of each sentence as a sign of respect when addressing someone older. Put together, mano po literally translates to your hand, please, as the greeting initiates the gesture of touching the back of the hand of an elder lightly on one's forehead. Filipino food in this culture. The food traditions are very different than what we are used to here in America. One very important part to the Filipino diet is the rice. Filipinos do not consider it a meal if rice is not served. 3 crops a year are harvested to provide enough rice for the population, and the government keeps surpluses stored for times of drought. They then eat a lot of fried fish, chicken, and pork with a lot of onions and garlic. Filipino food isn't traditionally spicy, but there are a few favorite spicy dishes. Filipino food is eaten with forks and spoons together, where the food is eaten from the spoon, and the fork helps to push or place the food on the spoon. It is also acceptable to eat with your hands at restaurants or at home. Pictured here are a few examples of food that I will cover in the following slides. Breakfast is normally eaten early in the morning and can very often be leftovers from the night before. Some of my favorite breakfast foods were arroz caldo, which is a porridge or oatmeal-like soup made out of rice, chicken, seasonings, and other various toppings. It is served warm and usually in a bowl. If you wake up early enough, you will likely be able to smell the aroma of pandesal from the bakery down the street. This sweet bread is only served in the morning and is available until it is sold out, which is usually very quick. It is delicious with any kind of bread topping or even just by itself. A unique part of the Filipino culture is that throughout the day you will hear salesmen walking or riding down your street on a bike, selling various foods like vegetables, snacks, or in the morning, taho. Taho is a picture here on the bottom right and is delicious. The recipes are sometimes family secrets, but the basic ingredients are extra soft tofu, brown sugar, water, and tapioca pearls. This is also a warm treat and served in a plastic cup with a straw. This isn't normally found in a bakery or a restaurant, but on the streets by a guy yelling Tahoe as loud as he possibly can, similar to an ice cream truck here in America. Lunch and dinner are fairly similar and meals can be interchanged. Typically, dinner meals are a little more heavier, whereas lunch is a little lighter. Both meals definitely include rice and an ulam, which is a Filipino word for the food that goes on top of the rice. Pictured here is a large fried tilapia, sinigang soup, which is the broth soup made of multiple ingredients and is also served over rice. And on the bottom is a very popular sweet Filipino spaghetti that almost always has hot dogs and is surprisingly not served over rice, although many Filipinos will still have rice available. Dinner is very similar to lunch, and the most important thing is that there is rice. Basta my rice. You will hear this phrase constantly in the Philippines when talking about mealtime, and it simply means as long as there is rice. Pictured here are some of the other very popular dishes. On the left, we have chicken adobo, which can also be made with chicken, pork, or beef. It tastes very similar to a teriyaki flavored chicken. On the top right is afritada, and it is a chicken stew that has a tomato flavor and is cooked with vegetables. Both of these dishes are traditionally served with rice. Treats and snacks in the Philippines are so delicious and readily available everywhere you go. There's always little houses that sell snacks or bakeries that sell pastries, and these are available all day. On the left, there is a picture of a beautiful sweet pastry, and on the right are two of my favorite snacks. The top picture is called turon, and is made of a special banana dipped in brown sugar and wrapped in a wonton wrapper, then fried and served fairly warm. On the bottom, you'll see a picture of pancit, which is definitely one of the most traditional foods that you'll find. Pancit is made for all occasions, snacks, lunch, dinner, and family or friend gatherings. It is made with noodles, chicken, and vegetables.